Labor's so-called world-first smoke-free laws have gone up in smoke under urgency in Parliament. Health advocates say the move is a travesty, warning more people will die as a result. But Associate Health Minister Costello says she has her own plan for smoke-free 2025. One News understands this will be revealed in the next fortnight. The Minister joins me now this morning. Morena, Minister.
Good morning, Daniel.
Tell us about your plan. What is your plan to get smoke-free 2025?
Well, the first stage will just be repealing the legislation that's currently in place, which is the reduced retail outlets, the, as they call it, smoke-free generation and the denicotisation. That's to clear a pathway for some really targeted practical solutions. We've achieved great results doing what we're doing now, and we just didn't support an unproven trial, which we're not alone in suggesting that this wasn't the right pathway, and we're going to implement tighter vaping controls and really targeted solutions, because we're now dealing with addicted nicotine smokers, less than 300,000 smokers who have been smoking for a long time. And as much as we'd like to think it, reducing supply does not reduce demand. And so we need to give them the very best tools we can to help them quit.
But Minister, if I can just jump in there, Radio New Zealand, they obtained documents of briefings to you which included suggestions such as increasing the purchase age of 25, lowering the nicotine and a ban of sales around schools. These suggestions you rejected. Why?
Well, actually, there's been a range of advice that I've received, and you won't be surprised to know that ministers don't always accept all the advice that's presented. Our job in government is to work through a lot of advice and come up with really workable, practical solutions, and that's what we're targeting for.
Are you saying that they're all bad ideas, and that's why you're rejecting them?
I'm saying they weren't the ideas that we've selected.
But are they bad ideas, is what I'm asking you.
Well, they're unproven ideas, and that's
they're not
the part
unproven.
We're working
We had
forward.
Janet Hook on last night. Now, she is a tobacco health researcher. She was on our show yesterday, and she said that she had offered your government advice, that they had given you these suggestions. Why ask for advice if you're not going to use it?
We're working through a range of solutions, and I have a cabinet paper going through next week which will outline what we're going to do. We have achieved outstanding results, as Ash have said, the best in the world, and we're going to build on those things that we know are working and have proved to be successful, and we'll continue to build on those. We're now dealing at a figure of 6.8% daily smokers. We believe that that target's highly achievable. We think we're going to achieve the best results. We're just working through a range of solutions that are practical, affordable, effective and proven.
All right, so give us an insight on what's in that cabinet paper.
So some of the things that we're looking about is tightening up the vaping regulations. I mean, already we tried to ban disposables. There was already a workaround before that was introduced in December. One of the things we have to do is tightening up on that. What we want to do is give the very best tools to smokers that they can quit. And we had successful programs. We had a successful Vape to Quit program to get, and it was probably one of the most successful programs we've had to get smokers to quit. The funding for that stopped. We want to revisit that. We want to go back to those campaigns that we know worked and have been successful.
So you talk about this research. I mean, what evidence can you tell us that you use to repeal and support this repeal?
Well, the evidence is that we've got the statistics of what we've achieved so far. We are down to 299,000 smokers. We have reduced our daily smoking rate significantly. We're down in the last, since 2011 and 12 when Ash started their surveying, we're down to 19,000 young smokers from 119,000.
But Minister, if I can just jump in again,
there's the
that's
evidence.
All due to the previous government, not yours.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying, is we want to build on the things that have been successful. We want to continue to do the stuff that's been successful. What the previous government
was doing that was successful.
We're not repealing anything that is in place. Nothing that we're repealing is currently in place. Nothing. None of
And
the
yet the
steps that we
research-
are repealing have been implemented.
But what you're saying just flies in the face of robust research.
No, the research that I think everybody keeps referencing wasn't based upon the current smoking level statistics. We've shifted from that. Those statistics were old, and we're now looking at current data, current figures, and we're looking at really good solutions. I think the previous government had a success story to applaud themselves for. They had a good opportunity to say we've done well and we're going to keep doing more. We don't need to do a whole lot of changes and regulatory impacts. We just want to keep moving forward, and we've got really good things in place that we know work and we'll build on.
Which again, Minister, just leads me asking you, why then just not continue with what the previous government had going, which was going really well in terms of the numbers dropping?
That's
Why
exactly what we're doing, exactly what we're doing. We're doing exactly what the government had in place, and we're going to build on it. We are not implementing the stuff that hasn't yet been implemented, isn't proven, isn't tried. And I think that's where the narrative's got away on us. It is not in place. The things we're repealing have not been implemented. They weren't to be implemented until later this year, next year and the year after. What we're repealing is stuff that isn't in place, and we're going to build on what we know is working.
We spoke, as I mentioned, to tobacco health researcher Jana Hook yesterday. She told us that the research showed that there will be less ram raids with retaining Labour's smoke-free laws, something that you say will just increase. What do you say to her?
I'm not sure where she's getting that data. What we were concerned about was the reduced retailers having to hold a huge amount of stock to meet smoking demand. And those few stores, which we were talking about 600 throughout the country down from 6,000, would have to be holding large amounts of stock. And that was my concern.
Vaping. What do you plan to do about underage vape sales?
Well, hopefully if the Cabinet paper goes through, we'll be tightening up a lot of areas around vape sales and specialist vaping stores, but until that goes through Cabinet, I can't really comment on what that will be. But I can assure New Zealanders that we have a lot of steps in place because we don't want young people vaping. That's the reality, and vaping got away on us because it was in the market before we got regulation in place and we were slow to react. We will continue to tighten those regulations. One of the first steps we want to do is make a complete ban on disposable vapes, and that will be the first thing that I'm really pushing to get in place.
In terms of underage vape sales, will you be removing advertising? Will that be something you'll be looking at?
Yeah, it is something that I'm really keen to do, and it's the whole range of things about how we present the stores, how attractive it is. We've done it with tobacco in terms of concealing packaging and not having them on display. I think it's an important move forward, but as I say, there's a range of things that I need to get through Cabinet first.
Just looking at your press statement that you sent through, you sent us a table which shows the number of people who've been quitting smoking over recent years, and correctly you note that it's tracking well and heading towards about 5% of the population who smoke by 2025, but the goal is 0%. What radical changes will there need to be?
No, the goal has never been. Smoke-free was always below 5%. That was always the target. The smoke-free target was never 0. I think we can achieve well below 5, but what I was concerned with is what we had in place was a blanket approach, and we know there's communities, Māori, Pacifica, the lower socioeconomic classes that were really adversely impacted by the smoking addiction, and that's why I want really targeted programs rather than something that generally applies around the whole country.
So, Minister, shouldn't the goal be 0% then? We just don't want anyone smoking?
Well, we really would, but unfortunately we're dealing with an addiction that has been a legal product for all of our lifetimes, and that's a tough thing when you're dealing with addiction, and I hope we can achieve that, and I think it's realistic, but it's an addiction and we need to deal with it on that basis, that we should aim for that, but I think we need to have practical, realistic goals and not catchphrases to achieve a solution.
Associate Health Minister Casey Costello, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.